Hello gardening friends, welcome back to the Calyx Services channel and I am Thelma. This is the last video for 2022 and as we did last year, we want to leave you on a bright note. This video, I'm going to just give you a follow-up on the Amaryllis dormancy treatment, which we covered at length in the last video, but that was 3 weeks ago and I've done a few things to dress up our Amaryllis as you can see here. So we will give you the update on that. And we will leave you with a summary of what we covered in 2022, as well as a small peek into what we hope to bring you in 2023. So please keep watching. Welcome back and thank you for staying. In the last video, we showed you the Amaryllis just a few weeks after they came out of dormancy. And for those of you who missed that video, we will encourage you to go and take a look. But it doesn't stop you from really appreciating this one, so please stay with us. In that video, there were 3 Amaryllis bulbs that came up blooming much quicker than the others, for which we were happy, which meant at the end of November we had 3 lovely display pots of Amaryllis. You see 2 of them here. This is 18 days after we shot that first video. I gave away 1 lovely pot of Amaryllis as a gift to a special friend. The other 2, I did a little experimentation as to where in the house, I left them indoors. They lasted blooming very well for about 15 days. This one to my right gave 7 blooms. Each bloom lasted about 3 days before they started to fade. And customary, once the bloom starts to fade, you are highly likely to cut them off. But I kept these on because you could see that we got some pollination and there's some seed formation. So I'm going to keep these, let the seed pods mature and use them subsequently. This one produced 6 blooms also. This was 7, this did 6. A little slower, and we still have 1 very healthy bloom. Once all the blooms are faded off, you may be tempted to dispose of the plant, but not Amaryllis. Look closely here, you see the next flower scape is coming up. This is based on the rate at which the flowering occurs from emergence of the scape to the expansion of the blooms. This is likely to give you some really spectacular blooms in about 2 weeks. So you may not wish to keep the entire plant on display during that 2-week period, but place the plant in a cool, protected area that has sufficient light. Not full sunlight, but a very nice, bright location that's protected. And you will keep on getting this scape will come and continue flowering, and depending on the size of the bulb, you may get more than 2 scapes. So before you dispose of the plant, just check the bulb to see if there's any more young ones coming up. In addition to the sequencing of the blooming on the individual plants that I just covered, what I have done here is line out 7 plants that will demonstrate that it suits you to have as many Amaryllis bulbs as you can, because they don't always come into bloom at the same time. This variety here it started flowering about a week ago. It has 4 blooms, and this is a different variety from this one. So whereas this one throws up quite a few blooms, this one looks like it is only going to give you 4 blooms, but these blooms are lasting for a longer period of time, and they definitely keep looking fresh and really beautiful. So this is putting on a show now, and what we've been lucky to have is a sequence that from all appearance would continue to give us really nice bloom for a period of extending. If each is going to be 2 weeks, we are going to have blooms lasting for at least 10 weeks continuously. This will be opened, this 3rd one will be opened in about 2 or 3 days, and as you can see, excellent. Now, while I'm pointing out the blooms, I'm sure most of you would notice that there is something additional, something that was done to these plants that were not done to the first 3. And yes, in the last 3 weeks, I collected some plants from the garden and placed them. Most of the plants that I've placed around are still in their little pots, so there's very little dislocation, but they continue to grow and can remain there. Now, what I've selected were shorter plants that will add some color that complements both the leaves and as well as the blooms. And the plants I've selected, again, they're those that I found in the garden readily, and what I selected were dwarf ones, those that create a nice base that complements both the leaves and the blooms on the plants. This is a dwarf sansevieria, nice yellow and green foliage, and when this pops out orange, it really is going to give you a 3-color combination. On both sides of the sansevieria, selected bromeliads. Now, dwarf again, this has a nice pinkish purplish ashen color. This little one, I'll show you a picture soon. It grows in full sunlight and gives you a glorious red color. But I've had them indoors or in this low light for quite a while, and they still have some color, but not as glorious as when they first came in. As you can see, these are relatively simple items. Oh, and how could I leave out this lovely red, what looks like a berry, but it's actually the seeds from the Christmas palm tree, called Christmas palm because towards the end of the year, closer to Christmas, they do produce their seeds and have this nice combination of orange and tan color. So just picking them off and throwing them in. And the other item I use for accent is perlite. I'm mimicking snow, but of course we really don't want snow on these plants. So a combination of red and white brings out the holiday colors. The plant by itself with no adornment is elegant, but until it opens up its blooms, your eyes will be caught by these smaller plants that are placed here to accent, to really provide the backdrop for when the bloom's ready to put on their show. Just some ideas. I'm sure you can find things around the home. Your traditional Christmas decorations would also go very well as base plants to serve to accentuate the blooms. Well, let's turn our attention to 2022. That was a glorious year for the Calyx Services channel. You may remember we started in May 2021. So by the start of 2022, we had only 7 months of experience. So we continued, we were full of energy, and I must say we covered quite a lot of topics in 2022, those of which we would want to highlight. The anthurium expansion. I mean, we did several phases and we did even more that we haven't covered. So that's turning out to be a major crop in the garden. We spent a fair bit of time looking more into the propagation of several crops, and I'm sitting next to the crown of thorns, which is another plant that we featured and which proved to be quite popular also. While we continue to be excited by the response to the flowering plants, of course our bread and butter issue is food. We really want to encourage as many persons to use whatever available space they have to grow some of their food. And we featured quite a lot of our own production, which we continue year-round. We are always producing our own food, whether we feature them in videos or not. And in 2022, we treated you to a few outside visits. 3 of the videos were actually shot in Canada, 2 in Barbados, and 1 at a location that is rather removed from our home base. And from your response, we are encouraged to do a few more of those outside visits in 2023. Another aspect of the garden that we shared with you, our viewers, is landscaping. Some of the landscaping projects in our front garden we covered, such as the orchid and bromelia bed. It also allowed us to expand our bromelia collection. So those are some of the highlights from 2022. The best part of 2022 for the Calyx garden crew is really the level of response we've had from you, our viewers, and we really appreciate that, because at the start of 2022 we had about 30,000 views, but by the end of the year and totaling 90 videos, we are now at approximately 170,000 views, and we really appreciate that. It encourages us to keep going and to bring you similar types of videos, as well as expand the areas of interest that we are capable of covering. Now, we are also quite pleased with the number of subscribers. We've gone over 2,300 subscribers, but we encourage more of you who are viewing our videos. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And all that's left for me to do is to wish you all, you and your families and friends, a wonderful festive season, and stay safe. And we're looking forward to having you with us in 2023. And just to leave you on a bright note, we'll share with you what our garden looks like at this time. We call it the Christmas feel, because everything is so nice and bright and lively that we feel obliged to share with you. We hope you enjoyed that last look of our front garden for 2022, and we look forward to seeing you again in the second week of January 2023. So until that time, I'm Thelma in the Calyx garden saying take care, thanks for watching, thanks for all of your support, and bye-bye.